One of the things you said we have in common is that we're both immigrants, proud immigrants to this amazing country. We both came here at the age of 2. I came from the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union. You came from India, and I can't help but notice how often you refer to your parents, and not only because you do a great impression of your dad's accent. They clearly are your moral compass. And
it's in the contract.
Can you just be sentimental for a minute? I want to get you like teary-eyed. But talk about that, because I feel the same way about my parents. You know, we're a country of immigrants. Immigration's front and center these days in the headlines, and I repeatedly tell as many people as I can that I can't find 2 more patriotic Americans than my parents, who, when I come home in a bad mood or depressed about the direction the country's in, they always say we could have been back in Russia. And I wonder what influence your parents had in the decisions you've made.
You're asking me this in their presence.
Yes, because I met them and I really like them.
All right, let's go.
They're unsung heroes.
Look, if you want to know how I feel about my parents in part, don't do this now. But if you open up the acknowledgments to the book, I have a lot of people to thank. I think I exceeded the allotment of the acknowledgments page. I have 4 pages because I'm so indebted to so many people. But I end with a paragraph on my mother and father, who did a lot of brave things and came to this country when it was not easy to do so because they wanted a better life for their children. And my dad in particular came from nothing. He's one of 13. We can barely handle 3. And he was the first person in his family to go to college, and he cared about education. And my mother is the kindest person that I've ever met. And they raised us, my brother and I, in suburban New Jersey. As I say in the acknowledgement also, my parents never really wanted us to become lawyers. They're still mildly annoyed that we didn't become doctors. But the first lessons I got about justice and fairness, like all this stuff, began with what they modeled and what they did and what they taught. And that's more than, putting food on your plate, I think. It's more than putting clothes on your back. It's more than anything. This idea that if you do the right thing and you believe in principle and you work hard and you care about other people and you give back to your country. My parents are also, in the way you describe, incredibly patriotic. I have 3 things that are important to me in my Twitter bio. I don't know if I mentioned I have 1 million Twitter followers. and one is that I'm proud, like 4 things that I'm proud of, not necessarily in this order: fired by Trump, banned by Putin, Springsteen fan, and proud immigrant.
Yeah.
And one of the things that causes me to be vocal is how much immigration is denigrated. The rhetoric is such that immigration from certain parts of the world is seen as bad. There's a certain kind of country that's described with the adjective that begins with S and ends with hit. That's not about my children are here. That's not about illegal immigration. So I'm inspired by so many things. I'm more inspired by my parents and what they did and what they sacrificed, and by your parents and what they sacrificed and what they did, and what you were able to become and I was able to become. I think it's crazy. I go by Preet. My full Indian name is Preetinder Singh Bharara. I was born in Punjab, India. I grew up in Jersey, and I became the chief federal law enforcement officer in Manhattan, appointed by the first African-American president in the history of the country. That's amazing stuff. Immigrants are important. Immigrants deserve an equal shot, and immigrants should not be denigrated just because they came to this country, because so many of them, like your parents and my parents, and like my own family, are as patriotic as any human being who's ever set foot in this country.
As my dad says. As my dad says, only in America can this happen. And it's so true. I think our parents should get together. Only in America can this happen.